All right, third graders, I am recording this for you for math today. I'm really counting on you to make me proud and to behave in a way that will make yourself proud as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the math packet that you're doing today together, okay? I'm going to talk you through it each step of the way. You can pause the video while I'm talking if you want to do some work. While we're working, you might be able to just keep up with me the entire time, okay? So here we go. I'm going to flip the camera and we're going to look at the packet together. So get your pencil ready, put your name and number on it, and let's look at the packet. All right. So we are working on place value and rounding numbers. You've already learned some of this, but we're going to talk about it step by step, okay? So on the first page, it's talking about using the digits, like the number 4, 8, and 5, to show expanded form. Remember we do that thing with our hands? Everybody do that now. Ready? Expanded form. So that we show that we know that the number 4 doesn't just mean 4. It actually means 4 hundreds, like 4 flats. And the 8 doesn't mean just 8. It means 80, like 8 longs. The 5s aren't just 5 singles, but also 5 cubes, right? If you push those numbers together, you get 485. So on the first section, you see the number 732. They've already broke it up in expanded form. What they're looking for you here on these blanks is to write how many hundreds, how many tens, and how many ones. So you would write, for example, there would be 7 hundreds. Go ahead and do that now. How many tens would be in this number? And how many ones would be in this number? Do the same thing for number 2. They've taken 201 and broken it into expanded form. Notice on this number there are no tens. There's a 0 in the tens place, so there's no tens. There's only some hundreds and some ones. Fill in how many hundreds and how many ones there are now. For number 3, you're going to look at the chart. The first row is already done for you. They have a number, 105. There's 100, there's no tens, and there's 5 ones. The next one is kind of tricky. They want you to take these numbers and push them back together to be a 3-digit number. If there's 9 hundreds, 1 10, and 3 ones, what number would that be? Do the same thing for the second one. Then finally the bottom one, the number's there for you, 358. Write how many hundreds, how many tens, and how many ones you see. All right, moving on to the next one. I'm sorry my picture's a little bit cut off. Let me see if I can fix it for you. Does that help? All right, so on number 4, you're going to keep completing the chart, but this time you only have the numbers, the digits. You're going to tell me how many hundreds, how many tens, and how many ones. Do that now. When you're ready, let's look at number 5. If you need to pause the video to do some work, go ahead and pause it and then come back to me, okay? Number 5, can you solve this number riddle? Here are the clues. The number has 6 hundreds. The tens digit has a value of 50. The ones digit is the difference between the digits in the hundreds place and the tens place. Woo. Okay, so that last clue had a lot of information. Think about it now. The number has 6 hundreds. The tens digit has a value of 50. How many tens would that be? And then the ones digit is the difference. Difference means subtract between the digit in the hundreds and the tens. Circle the number that you think matches all 3 of those clues. You could start by looking for a number that has 6 hundreds. That would help you rule out 2 of them. Then check for one that has has tens digit has a value of 50. That'll help put you on the right track. Circle your answer now. On number 6, you're going to use the 3 digits shown on the cards on the right to make the greatest number you can. Use each digit only once to get the greatest number. See the cards on the side right here? There's a 5, there's a 2, there's a 9. You can rearrange these numbers to be a really big number. Make the greatest number that you can now. On number 7, you're going to do the same thing with those 3 digits to make the smallest, the least number you can. Use each digit only once to make the least number you can out of 5, 2, and 9. Do that now. We're going to move on to the next page. There's an example of what to do. And it says, study the example about rounding to the nearest 10, then solve problems 1 through 8. Here's the example. I'll read it for you. Robert always tells his friends how many points he earns on his video game. He rounds the numbers to the nearest 10. On Saturday, Robert earned 63 points. How many points did he tell his friends that he earned? 63 is between 60, the tens of 60, and 70. Since 63 is closer to 60, Robert tells his friends that he earned 60 points. So basically, they took the 6 and the 3, 6 is in the tens place. They checked next door. Remember our rhyme? 0 to 4, stay on the floor. 5 to 9, climb the vine. And since 3 is in the ones place, he's going to stay on the floor. He's going to stay at 60. All right, let's try it. Number 1, later that afternoon, Robert spent more time playing the video game. He earned 88 points. How many points did he tell his friend that he earned? Go to the 8 that's in the tens place and underline it. Then check next door at the 8. The rhyme 0 to 4, stay on the floor. 5 to 9, climb the vine. Is 88 going to stay on the floor at 80? Or is it going to go up to 90? Write your answer on the blank. Number 2, the number 157 is between which 2 tens? Circle the 2 tens on the number line. So think to yourself, if I were at the tens place, I would underline the 5. What 2 tens am I trying to decide? Am I trying to decide between 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180? Where does 157 fall? Circle the 2 numbers on that number line that fall, that where 157 would go. Would it go here? Would it go here? Would it go between these 2? Or between those? Or between those? Circle the numbers that you think it goes between. You should circle 2 numbers. Then we're going to round to the nearest 10. This number right here, please go to the tens place, underline it, and then check next door. 0 to 4, stay on the floor. 5 to 9, climb the vine. What will this number round to the nearest 10? Do that now. Number 4, to earn money, you brush dogs. You are so busy that you hire your friend to help. You pay your friend $1 for each dog they brush. You only have a $10 bill to pay them with. You must round each payment to the nearest 10. Show how much each friend gets paid. Jessica, the number of dogs that she brushed was 12. How many $10 bills, or what is that to the nearest 10 when it's rounded? So go to the tens place, check next door. Is it going to stay at 10 or go up to 20? Put your answer here. Sophie brushed 18 dogs. Go to the tens place, check next door, and decide what that answer is rounded to the nearest 10. Do the same thing for Mia. Mia brushed 22 dogs. Go to the tens place, check next door, and decide what is that number when it's rounded to the nearest 10. You may need to pause that to give yourself some more time to think and figure that out. Make sure you're working by yourself. You've got me here to help you. You don't need to talk with your neighbors. So the number 767 is between what 2 tens? What are you considering? Am I staying where? What they want you to do here is they want you to decide, is it 760, would go right here, or 770? They want you to write what are the 2 options you're considering when you're rounding the number 767. I just told you that answer there, so go ahead and fill it in. The next one on B says, what number is halfway between these 2 tens? So that would be the one that ends with a 5. That would be halfway between the number you wrote here and the number you wrote here. On C, 767, less than, greater than the halfway number. So the number you wrote here, does this number fall after it or before it on a number line? So is it smaller or bigger, less than or greater than? That's what you're going to write on this line, less than or greater than the halfway number. Then part D, will it round up or will it round down? If it was 0 to 4, it would round down. If it was 5 to 9, it would round up. And then what is the answer? What is 767 rounded to the nearest 10? Go ahead and do that now. Number 6, the number 342 is between which two tens? You're basically repeating the process of number 5. Will it round up or round down? Remember, you go to the tens place, then check next door to decide if it's going to round up to the next 10 or stay on the floor, which is known as rounding down. What is 342 rounded to the nearest 10? Go to the tens place, check next door, put your answer on the line. Number 7, what is a number less than 930 that rounds to 930? This is tricky. It's not as hard as it sounds. Think about numbers that would round to 930 that are smaller than 930. Would 929 round to 930? Try it and see. Go to the tens place, check next door, and think, does it go up to 930 or would it stay at 920? There are other answers that could be correct on number 7, but give a couple a try and see if they round to 930, but they are smaller. They are less than 930. And then what is a number that's greater than 930 that rounds to 930? So there are numbers like 931, 932, 933 that would round down. They would stay on the floor to 930. Again, there's more than one right answer for this blank. Okay, moving on. You're doing great. We are almost done, so keep plugging away here. Remember, you can pause the video at any time, or you can keep working with me if you're able to. If you need time to think, go ahead and press pause and come back to me when you're ready. Study the example about rounding to the nearest 100, then solve problems 1 through 10. So here we go. The example says there are 127 crayons in a bin. What is 127 rounded to the nearest 100? We switched from rounding from the nearest 10 to rounding to the nearest 100. The only difference is that you're going to go to the hundreds place, then check next door, instead of going to the tens place and check next door. The number 127 is between 100 and 200. The halfway number between 100 and 200 is 150. The number 127 is less than the halfway number, so 127 is nearer to 100 than it is to 200. 100 is the nearest 100 to 127. So what that would look like is this. The number 684 is between which two hundreds? Well, 684 would fall between 600 and 700. Circle those two hundreds on the number line. The halfway number between 600 and 700 is going to be 650. You can write that on number 2. What is 684 rounded to the nearest 100? For this one, you'll need to go to the 6, you'll check next door, and look for the pattern. 0 to 4, stay at 600. 5 to 9, let's climb the vine to 700. The 8 says, I should climb the vine. 684 rounded to the nearest 100 will be 700. Write that on number 3. Now you're ready to give it a try for yourself. Let's round 694 to the nearest 100, then 674 to the nearest 100, and 624 to the nearest 100. Do those now, and then move on when you're ready. Number 7. Answer the questions below to round 377 to the nearest 100. Remember, going to the hundreds place now, checking next door and thinking, do I stay at 300 or go up to 400? The number 377 is between what two hundreds? It's between 300 and 400. The halfway point between 300 and 400, write that here. Look back on the last page if you forget what the halfway point might be. You can use that to help you. Question C, is 377 less than or greater than the halfway number? On the number line, would it fall after or before that halfway number? Is it less than or greater than? That's your answer right here. You're writing either less than or greater than. Will it round up or down? When they say rounding down, they mean stay on the floor. When they say round up, they mean go to the next 100. What is 377 rounded to the nearest 100? Put your answer here. Number 8. The chart below shows the miles between U.S. cities. Round each distance to the nearest 100 miles. So from Phoenix to Las Vegas is 292 miles. Please round 292 to the nearest 100 and put your answer in the blank. Then Los Angeles to San Francisco is 386 miles. Round 386 to the nearest 100 and then put it on this blank. Number 9. Oh no, here's another riddle. We can do this. We're going to take one clue at a time, and it's great. It's a great idea to check the answers to see which one fits each clue. We need an answer that fits all 3 clues. Can you solve the riddle about a number? Here are the clues. The number is between the 200s, 500 and 600. Okay, so 525 is between 500 and 600. 575 is between those two. 501 is between those two, but is 650 between 500 and 600? Think about that. The number is greater than the halfway number. So between 500 and 600, the halfway number, might want to write that over here on the side. So the answer has to be bigger than the halfway number between 500 and 600. You will round up to round this number to the nearest 100. So which one of these would round up? Which one of these would round up? So if your answer matches all 3 of these clues, you've solved the riddle. Last one on this page, what is 999 rounded to the nearest 100? Caution. Whoop, 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 whoop. Be careful. This is a tricky one. It's going to cross over into the next place value, so be very cautious. I'll wait to see how you do on number 10. Okay. We're on the home stretch, okay? You're going to use place value to round numbers. Number 1, a science museum has 73 exhibits. What is 73 rounded to the nearest 100? I know you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, there are no hundreds in the number 73. That's okay. That should give you a hint. Look at this little guy over here onto the side. Is 73 closer to 0 or is it closer to 100? Those are the 2 options you're picking. Either 0 or 100. What do you think? Remember, we would go to the hundreds place and then we would check next door, which then would lead us to the 7. Number 2. Which 2 numbers rounded to the nearest 100 both round to 400? So check each number rounded to the nearest 100 and see if they would both go to 400. When you find 2 numbers that both answer is 400, then you found the right one. Hans chose A as the correct answer. How could he get that answer? What was he thinking maybe? What made him choose that one? And number 3, decide if the following numbers will round to 300. This is either a yes or no. Remember, go to the hundreds place, check next door. Again, 0 to 4, stay on the floor. 5 to 9, climb the vine. You're circling either yes or no to think about if it would round to 300. If the answer is yes, circle yes. Last page. Maybe. Sorry, maybe not last page. Yes, last page. Okay, number 4. Which numbers, when rounded to the nearest 100, round to 100? Circle all that are correct. So make sure you check every answer to see what it rounds to. I would love to see your thinking over here on the side in this open space. Circle all that round to 100. Number 5, according to one science museum, the world's tallest man was 8 feet 11 inches tall. That is 107 inches. His weight was 490 pounds. Wowza, that's a big, big guy. What is 107 rounded to the nearest hundred? Go to the hundreds place. Check next door. Are you going to stay at 100 or go up to 200? You decide. What is 490 rounded to the nearest hundred? Go to hundreds place. Check next door. Are you going to stay at 400 or go up to 500? You decide. Last one. Number 6. Cameron read that the average American eats about 130 pounds of potatoes each year. That's a lot of potatoes. A. What is a number less than 130 that rounds to 130 when rounded to the nearest 10? Be careful here. They're asking you to round to the nearest 10. Now, there could be more than one option, but the number has to be less than 130, but it should round to 130 when you round to the nearest 10. Do some guessing and checking. Try something and see if you can find a number that when you round to the nearest 10, the answer is 130. What is a number greater than 130 that rounds to 130 when rounding to the nearest 10? Again, we're looking at tens place now. So go to tens, check next door. What is 130 rounded to the nearest 100? This last one is checking rounding to the nearest 100. So be careful on number 6. That one's kind of using the beginning that we learned about rounding to the nearest 10 and the end when we learned about rounding to the nearest 100. All right, that's it. If you get this finished, you should turn it into the teacher to be graded, and then you should work on your iReady math minutes. Try to pass a lesson. Make sure you have at least 45 minutes. All right, guys, I'm counting on you. I'll see you back here for science, and I'll also talk to you for reading. Good job.